Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Naz. For those of you who don't know, I am studying to be a naturopath here in Australia. I'm actually in my second year and I'm always getting questions asking about where I study at, what universities I recommend, etc. So I thought I'd make a whole video, answer all of your questions so that you guys actually have something to reference back to. I kind of wish I'd had a video like this when I was first starting, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to create it for any future students that will help make their decision a little bit easier. If you didn't know, I actually started studying at Endeavour in 2022, maybe 2023. I started studying there. I do have a video all about my first semester there on my YouTube channel. It's a little bit outdated now, and I think since then Endeavour's changed the structure of their course a little bit. So take what I say with a grain of salt because it is a little bit old, but some of the stuff is still up to date in that video. So feel free to go and have a look at it. And I also did a video chatting about why I transferred from Endeavour to Torrens. I did an in-depth video all about that and also chatted about the process as well. So those are videos already on my channel. But for today, I'm going to be chatting specifically about the different institutes you can study at and kind of the pros and cons of each so that you can make an informed decision about what places are going to be best for you to study naturopathy at. So in Australia, you've got three main institutes. You've got Southern Cross University, Endeavour College of Natural Medicine, and you also have Torrens University. I study at Torrens, but as I said, I previously studied at Endeavour, and I have a friend who's been at Southern Cross University, so I've chatted to her a little bit about it so that I could give you some up-to-date information about them in this video as well. I have my laptop down here, so in case you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. And I'm just getting a lot of this information off their website, and then I'll kind of talk about my experience or my friends' experiences, because I've sort of tried to chat to everybody recently to get the most up-to-date information about each of the institutes. So if you're looking to study naturopathy in Australia, you're going to be doing a Bachelor of Health Science. It's a 4-year degree and you're going to be majoring in naturopathy. So at Endeavour and Torrens, that's what it's called. At Southern Cross, it's called something a little bit different. And the way that you do it at Southern Cross is a little bit different to the other two. So I'm going to be talking about them last. I'm going to start by talking about Endeavour. So the great thing about Endeavour is that they have campuses in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Gold Coast, and in Perth. So that's what you can see here. As I said, it's a 4-year full-time degree. You do have part-time options available. I think you've got up to 8 years. At least that's what we have at Torrens. I'm pretty sure at Endeavour you have that as well. And if you go onto their website, they've got a bunch of information about the degree specifically. And if you go all the way down the bottom, they've got some frequently asked questions and stuff like that. But what I actually want to look at is just down here. So we've got, and sorry, I scrolled all the way to the end of these. So you have a bit of a course breakdown here. So as you can see, Endeavour do semesters. So you've got semester 1 and semester 2, that's your year 1. Basically, they have 4 subjects per semester. That's the full-time study load. Obviously, anything lower than that would be considered a part-time study load. Now, I'm just going to quickly go on to their course brochure. So this is the Endeavour College course brochure. You've got your, here we go, 4 years full-time, 8 years part-time. So you've got different delivery modes with them. You've got online, on-campus, live stream, and also blended, so a mix of online and on-campus stuff. They do intakes in March, July, and October. And then for some online subjects, they do them in May and September as well. You can see here, you've got your entry requirements. So you need a year 12 or equivalent. You do not need an ATAR. So that's the course structure there. You can also see the prerequisites. You can see the delivery mode. So we've got online, we've got live streamed and on-campus options. So with Endeavour, as you can see, they only offer a couple of electives. And I just wanted to point this out because it's a little bit different at some of the other universities. One of the reasons I actually transferred from Endeavour was when they have an online subject, it's basically, I think you get, at least when I was going, you would get 2 essentially just interactive slideshows to look through. So it wasn't like a live class or anything. It was literally just like a slideshow with information, and you kind of click through it, and it was a little bit interactive. And that's what you took your notes from. That was the whole semester. And so I really struggled with staying engaged. It was one of my least favorite things about Endeavour. And I've spoken to a few friends recently who go to Endeavour, and they've said the exact same thing, they really struggle with it. And quickly just to chat about their course fees. So how much it actually costs to do this degree at Endeavour. Now, as I said, Endeavour's great because you can do a lot of the degree online, and they have campuses all over Australia. So for Torrens and for Southern Cross University, if you live in Western Australia, you have to move because they do not offer any kind of on-campus components in Western Australia, whereas Endeavour have a campus in Perth. So I think Endeavour's a great option if you live really regionally, for example, in Western Australia, or you're in Adelaide or something and you're not wanting to move. You're probably going to want to go to Endeavour. So this is the course breakdown here for naturopathy. So you can see the tuition fees on the right-hand side here, $2,550 for each subject that you do. And then all the way down the bottom, we should be able to see the total. Yep, so the total course cost, $81,600. Now, when I was going to Endeavour, and I've spoken about this in my video where I've talked about transferring from Endeavour to Torrens, when I was going there, one of the reasons that I transferred to Torrens is that because they're a private college, if you put your tuition on fee help, which is what I was doing, you get charged, I believe it's an additional 20% on top of that course fee to put it on fee help. So say you were paying $2,550, you'd be paying an extra 20% of that just to put it on fee help. Obviously, if you're paying your course fees straight up, you don't pay this additional fee. But yeah, with Endeavour, that's just something to keep in mind. So that $81,600 is going to be quite a bit more if you're putting it onto fee help. Whereas at Torrens, they don't charge that, and I don't believe that Southern Cross do either. So just something to keep in mind with Endeavour. So yeah, overall, my experience with Endeavour was pretty good. Don't get me wrong, like I didn't have a bad experience. I just really struggled with staying focused during classes just because most of the time it was those interactive slideshows. Like I was just not engaged and I really struggled. So there was that. There was also that additional fee that you got charged for putting it on fee help, which when I transfer to Torrens, I don't get charged that. Those were sort of my main things, but the big pro with Endeavour is you can do lots of the course online, and you can also do it if you live in Western Australia. So I have friends who live here, they went to Endeavour primarily because they didn't want to have to move across the country to go and do their uni degree. I just quickly want to go back to the course structure just to sort of show you guys how much of it you can do online. So you will see that the first couple of years you can do online. You've got live streamed and on-campus options with some of your subjects. You'll see some of them, like when you start getting into clinic, it's primarily on campus because you do have to be in student clinic for that. It's quite similar at Torrens as well, which I'm about to point out. But yeah, I just quickly wanted to show you that as well. I'm going to leave links in the description box as well of everything that I've shown you. Okie dokie, let's move on to chat about Torrens. But first I'm going to have some water because I'm getting thirsty. I just love having a big drink bottle. Like this is 2 liters. Oh my gosh, if I do not have a big water bottle, like I struggle to get through a good amount of water in a day. Like I just won't drink it. But if I know that it's all in that bottle and know that I'm going to be guzzling it, and as long as I finish that bottle by the end of the day, I've drunk my 2 liters. Anyway, let's have a little chat about Torrens. Now, this is the current university that I study at. I absolutely love it here. As I said, I transferred from Endeavour to Torrens, and I do not regret that decision at all. I've loved my experience at Torrens so far. Whenever anybody asks me, where do you think I should study? I'm going to recommend Torrens. I've had a fantastic experience here. I've had lots of friends that finished their degrees here and they've loved it as well. Honestly, if I went back and did it again, I would have just gone to Torrens straight away. I love the way the course is delivered. I love the way it's structured. I just think they offer a really great quality degree. So of course, that is my personal opinion. I'm not getting paid to say any of the stuff in this video. Let's jump onto their website and have a little look-see. So you can download the course guide and everything. As I said, I'll link everything that I show you on the screen here. I'll link it all down below in the description box. But once again, it is a Bachelor of Health Science in Naturopathy. It goes over like what the degree is and everything. As you can see, you've got a mix of on-campus and blended. And I will kind of go through this as well. With the campus locations, it is only Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. That is the downside to Torrens. I currently live in regional Western Australia and I'm moving across to Brisbane at the end of the year because they do not have a campus here in WA, which sucks. And Endeavour does. So I have friends that go to Endeavour because they live in Western Australia and they don't want to have to move across. Otherwise, they would have gone to Torrens. That's just one thing to keep in mind with Torrens. If you're not in Melbourne, Sydney, or Brisbane and you're not willing to move, maybe don't go with Torrens. Once again, full time is 4 years, part time is about 8 years. You have 3 main intakes in the year, which I'll go through in a second. And then you've of course got all the same with Endeavour, which I didn't really show you, but you've got all the memberships you can get once you finish the degree, so all the associations that you can register with. We're gonna go down to subjects and units. Now, Torrens structure their course differently, and I honestly think that this is the best way to structure this particular course just because of how much information we learn. The way that Torrens structure their degree is that they do trimesters. So you've got 3 trimesters in a year. It's a 12-week block of classes. So I've just finished trimester 1. I'm about to start trimester 2 at the start of June. And I love the way this gets taught because the full-time study load is only 3 subjects, which I think is great. Like, it's still a lot, but it's manageable. Whereas even Endeavour being 4 subjects, I feel like is quite a lot to take on. So as you can see, you've got 8 core subjects. So the way that they structure it is like 3 subjects first trimester, 3 second trimester, and then 2 subjects in third trimester. And as you can see, that's what you do in first year. You've got all of your second year subjects, and you can actually have a look at like roughly what the subject is all about. You can also see like the delivery mode, and you've got your electives. Now, this is something I quickly just want to point out. When we looked at Endeavour, they only have 3 electives, I believe. I'm just going to quickly pull it up because I just want to make sure that's correct. Yeah, so see here, this is Endeavour, so you've only got 3 electives, which is crazy. You've got homeopathic acute prescribing, sociology of food, and sports nutrition. I'm pretty sure they're the only electives they offer. Where if we go back on to Torrens, these are all the different electives that you can do. Obviously, your electives aren't everything, but I like having options. I don't know about you guys. Let's just go into their course brochure. You can see the intake dates here. Sorry, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit on this. So you can see the intake dates here. You've got February, June, and September. So I'm about to go into my June intake. That's trimester 2. And once again, you do not need an ATAR to do this degree at Torrens. You've got the year 12 or equivalent. Once again, you've got your structure and everything here, all of your electives, and yeah, you can kind of see everything that you're going to be doing. As I said, I just love the way that Torrens set up their degree. Like, I love that it's trimesters, 12-week blocks. You've got 3 subjects to focus on, you know? And I really, really like that. Now with Torrens, I couldn't find anywhere on their website specifically about their fees. So I went into one of my invoices and I found the fees. So Torrens, at the moment, in, what are we, May 2025, Torrens charge $2,812.50 per subject. But I'm actually on a scholarship, which was not very hard to get. And I saved $562.50 with my scholarship. So I get 20% off the whole course. Now, that is one thing I would 100% ask when you go and study at any of these unis. Just ask, institutes, because they're not all unis. Just ask if there's any scholarships available. I did when I first went to Torrens, and I got I think it's called the Do What You Love, or it was called that. I'm not sure if it's still called that. It gave me 20% off the whole course. And I literally just had to answer some questions in an email and send it off, and I got granted it. So yeah. I also have a friend who did the first year. Actually, I should probably quickly mention that. Pretty much with this degree, if you're not sure if you want to complete the whole 4 years, you can actually do a diploma of health science, which is like the first year of subjects. You can do this at Endeavour and Torrens. I think you can also do it at Southern Cross University. And pretty much it's just the first year subjects. So if you just do the first year, you'll walk away with the diploma. So you'll still sort of get something after that first year. And then you can go on to do the bachelor if you like, and you've literally just completed the first year. So that's a really great way. If you're not 100% sure if you want to commit to the whole 4 years, you're not sure if you want to do the whole bachelor degree, consider doing a diploma of health science first. What one of my friends did at Torrens, which is a great little hack to know, is that she got a scholarship. So she did her diploma, and then she got an alumni scholarship, which gives you 20% off the rest of the course. I think it also gives you 25% off any other course you study at Torrens after that. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that it definitely gives you 25% off the rest of the bachelor degree. So the next 3 years, you get 25% off every single one of your subjects. So that's a good little hack to know. Now, I'm not sure if I'm actually allowed to show you this document, but basically this is like our course structure document. And I just wanted to point out, so a lot of people ask me, how much of this degree can you do online? I don't know exactly how much you can do online with Endeavour, but with Torrens, I have nearly finished second year and I've been able to do everything up until this point online. So I don't really I think probably a little bit into, maybe like halfway through third year is when you start needing to be on campus more. But I did just sort of want to highlight how it works. For an example, last year I completed Herbal Materia Medica 1, which is this subject here. And as you can see over here, there's a thing that says all students complete 25 hours of work integrated learning by attending online work integrated learning classes delivered during trimester. So as well as having a lecture every week, you actually would do an additional like work integrated learning thing. So you have to attend that. It was almost like, it wasn't a lecture. I don't really know how to describe it, but you pretty much had to attend it to like make up your 25 hours. But then in week 12, you had to be on campus to attend a Saturday and Sunday intensive. So you're literally just on campus attending a 2-day intensive. And that's what happens with a few of the online subjects, is that you'll have to attend intensives on campus, but the rest of the subject was completely online. Next trimester in week 6, I've also got another 2-day intensive in Brisbane, and then later in the year I've got a couple more intensives as well. It is entirely possible to do most of this degree online, but then when you get further into it, for example, I think it's preclinical studies too, you need to be doing clinic observations, so you're going to be in clinic observing other students in clinic. And then in the last year of your degree is when you go into student clinic, and that is when you are basically on campus, you're taking on your own clients. The first trimester that you're in clinic, you do like a day every week. As you get further into it, you start doing like 2 days on clinic with 2 days on campus for your student clinic. I need some water. Now, I've already talked lots about Torrens, but I forgot to mention, instead of them having like these interactive slideshows that you look through, regardless of what subject you are doing, you will have a live class every week. So for every single one of the classes I've ever done at Torrens, I've always had like a live lecture to attend. Now, a lot of the time you don't have to attend these live, you can just watch the recording, which is what I do most of the time, because there is a bit of a time difference in WA and where the classes get recorded. But you have that option. So I found myself being so much more engaged being at Torrens than when I was at Endeavour. Like, I really struggled when I was at Endeavour. Also with Torrens, I know students that are first year students, and they've had the option of being on campus or being online with their subjects. Whereas if you go to Endeavour, for a lot of first year subjects, and I think even some second year subjects, you only have an online option. If you want to be on campus, meeting other students, having like the uni experience, you do not have that option. But with Torrens, you do. I think to a degree it is subject to availability. Like, for example, if you're in Brisbane, you've like locked in that you want to do on campus for this subject, they might actually not have an on-campus option if not many people have signed up for it. So I also know that that is sometimes a thing, but 100% for those classes that you do need to be on campus for, they'll always have it like available in like Sydney, Brisbane or Melbourne. And I think a lot of it as well just depends on what your learning style is. If you're anything like me, you get easily distracted, Torrens is great because of those live lectures. Pretty much the way they structure it is with every class, you'll do like pre-readings, you'll have a live lecture, and then if you're like working on assignments, obviously that contributes towards the hours that you do for every subject every week. For some of the subjects, for example, I'm doing a subject called Herbal Therapeutics next trimester, which is actually a third year subject. I've kind of like done weird things with my course structure, so whatever. I'm doing Herbal Therapeutics next trimester. And with that, we have a bit of stuff going on with it. So I know that we have a live lecture every week. We also have like a tutorial, I believe, as well. And then in week 6, we also have a 2-day intensive. So it's a pretty full-on subject, which is just a little bit different to like the traditional subject, you know? So those sort of are in there as well. And then obviously as you get further in, you do need to be on campus for the clinic components. But anyway, that is Torrens. I absolutely love studying here. I get questions all the time like, have you enjoyed your experience at Torrens? Like, can you talk more about it and everything? I've loved my experience at Torrens so far, especially coming from Endeavour where I was just struggling to absorb the content. Coming to Torrens has been so nice because I've just felt like I've learnt so much in such a short period of time, and I really love the way they structure their course. I love the way that it's delivered. If I had to pick out of all 3 unis, I'd pick Torrens every time. All right, we're nearly there. Let's chat about Southern Cross University. Now, I've never been here, and I only recently had a friend go here and chat to me about her experience, which is what I want to talk about today, and also run through on their website, like their course structure and everything like that. So we're going to jump over to their website first. So with Southern Cross, it's a little bit different to Endeavour and Torrens. They don't do like a Bachelor of Health Science 4-year degree. It's a little bit different. So they do a Bachelor of Health Science, but it's majoring in health and lifestyle. And then that's a 3-year degree. So it's 3 years full time, and the location is the Gold Coast. So to my knowledge, Southern Cross University do not have an online option. They have campuses on the Gold Coast and also in Lismore. So if you're not in either of those locations, I don't think you can study at Southern Cross University. I believe you do need an ATAR to get into this. It definitely says on their website you need an ATAR of 65 to be able to get into this degree. So you do a 3-year Bachelor of Health Science majoring in health and lifestyle, and then you go on to do a Masters of, I'll show you here, you go on to do a Masters of Naturopathic Medicine. And that's essentially how you become a naturopath with Southern Cross University. So their Bachelor of Health Science, the health and lifestyle one, you can see here their annual fee. So it's $25,000 per year, which is $3,125 per unit, which is the more expensive option out of all the ones that I've spoken about so far. So I want you to keep that in mind. And as I said, it's only on the Gold Coast. So this is your schedule of units here. So you can see on their website all the different units that they offer. Yeah, you can like see it all in here. But if you just did this, you wouldn't be able to register with like ANTA or any of those associations that you can register with if you do the Bachelor of Health Science at Torrens or Endeavour. To be able to get that at Southern Cross, you then have to go on and do a master's. And then once you've finished the master's, that's when you'll be able to get registration to a lot of those associations. What I've heard with Southern Cross University is if you're a nurse or if you've done like paramedicine or something, you can then go into the Masters of Naturopathic Medicine and do the 2 years. So I think that that's where Southern Cross could be a good option if you don't want to go and do like a bunch of years getting your Bachelor of Health Science in Naturopathy. If you've already done like nursing or something, I think that's where Southern Cross could be a good option because you can go and do this Masters of Naturopathic Medicine. Once again, everything that I'm saying about Southern Cross at the moment is purely what I've learned from their website. And I'll admit I got a little bit confused with the way that they structure it because as you would have seen at Endeavour and Torrens, it's a Bachelor of Health Science, it's a 4-year degree, it's the same at both unis. Whereas Southern Cross do this like Bachelor and then a Master's. I don't know, it's a little bit confusing. Now, let's just chat a little bit about what my friend's experience was at Southern Cross University. So she's just finished a semester there. They're 6-week terms and you do 2 subjects or like 2 units in that semester. So it is very intense. She said their assessments, there were anywhere from like 5 to 6 assessments per unit. So a lot of work in a very short period of time. She is actually considering transferring to Torrens at the moment because she really did not enjoy her experience at Southern Cross University. It is still a fairly new degree that they're offering, and I think there's still quite a few things that they need to iron out. She said that she found it so intense doing those 6 weeks and it just wasn't really for her, which is why she's transferring across to Torrens. You might really enjoy their learning style, but it's solely on campus, so you don't have the option of going online. My friend who went there, that was just her experience. The only person I've actually spoken to that's gone there. I really don't know that many people that have gone there, so maybe other people have had other experiences, and maybe it just depends on your learning style as well. But yeah, that's Southern Cross University. That is kind of a little bit of an overview of the different institutes that you can study at. I hope that gave you a little bit more of an understanding of the different styles of learning, the different ways that teaching gets facilitated and stuff. As I said, my preference is Torrens. I just think that the way they structure their course, the way they deliver their course is fantastic. Once again, I was not sponsored in any way to film this video. Nobody pays me for this. This is what my experience has been / other friends' experiences / what they say on their website. So I try to give you a little bit of a guide to help make your decision easier when it comes to picking where you're going to study to be a naturopath. I'm gonna leave this video here. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day and I'll probably see you in my next video. Bye!